and then we will open up the floor for Q&A, and then we will go into ongoing classes if anybody wants to stay and hear about ongoing classes. All right, so
Okay.
you
Put my
guys just,
makeup on.
oh, go ahead, get pretty for us, Linda.
Okay, I
Okay,
have a question then.
Marianne.
Okay, sorry. So I am actually just getting ready to, I'm working on my first class and hopefully submitting it today for approval.
Awesome.
So my, a couple of things. I mean, because you know when you hear all this stuff and until you actually do it, it really doesn't make any sense. I mean,
Yes.
right?
Right.
So I've filled out all the information and I just need to do a quick video to add to my class and then submit. And I have to upload a picture. My question is, so my first class is about making patriotic snacks. And then after I did that, I'm like, oh, duh, this is worldwide. And so, but it's for like 4th of July coming up. I hope that's okay.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So my question, a couple of things. I'm probably going to have to do this in my kitchen, which is fine. I have an iPad.
Okay.
Do you know, I already made the snack and I took a picture of each thing along the way, kind of like if you were on Pinterest and they have a, you know, first you do this, then this, then this.
Yes.
And I was thinking about making a Google Slides and then I could show it as I do it. Do you know anybody that does like cooking or baking stuff? If like, let's say I was able to teach this class 5 times next week, I don't want to make the stuff every single time because then I'd have a whole bunch of items.
1,000
Okay?
cupcakes. Yeah.
Right. So, well, they're not cupcakes, but it's something. But anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know, am I required?
I don't know. I don't, because I am so I really don't browse around other classes very much. I'm just so bogged down in the phonics trenches right now with my Outschool classes. So I don't really spend a lot of time. And so I don't, but I would think though that you would not have to, as long as you've got those Google Slides, and on, you know, when you do your Google Slides, you could even do quick video clips. So instead of doing a picture, you could even upload like a quick, you know, 5 to 10 second video clip. Here's me stirring, you know, so you teach that once and do as your kids are stirring for the very first time. If it were me, I'm just kind of thinking how I would do that. And I would just hit like on my phone, record myself stirring for a few minutes and then save it. And then I would probably teach that class one time, get some video clips and pictures, and then make a Google Slides presentation so that every time after that, I can use that. So you can, on the, you know, the other classes that you begin teaching, you can walk the students through it, but, you know, just mention, and I just did this in another class. Here's the picture. Here's the video of me doing this step. That's kind of what comes to my mind for that.
Okay. It's actually something really simple. So I'm hoping my pictures right now will be enough. It's not
perfect.
It doesn't involve, it's not baking. It's almost like a no bake, practically a no bake snack. My other question, so it does involve the oven for like 2 minutes. Okay. We're melting something. Do you know, is there I wasn't sure what age. I think older kids, I know 5 is too young, 5 or 6, but I was thinking 8 to 13 or what. Are there different age ranges or do you get to choose?
You do get to choose your age ranges, and they recommend no more than a 5-year gap. But just because you recommend, so you could do 8 to 13, that would be perfect as far as the gap, but you would definitely be very specific in your description box with, this does involve using the oven for a few minutes. A parent will need to be present with the child. I would say that no matter the age range, just to cover yourself, that just put that in the description box, very detailed. First, we're going to do this. We're going to preheat the oven to 350 or whatever. And then I would also include like a note in all caps, note to parents. This, because this does involve the oven, please have a parent or guardian present during this class, you know, or on hand to assist with the oven. Just cover your bases that way.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I had a question, Marianne. Are the kids actually going to make it? Or,
yes, that's the plan. It's a very simple snack, and I think that's why I'm choosing this as my first. Eventually, I mean, I'm a teacher, so I will be doing phonics and some Spanish, but I thought for my first class, this would be fun, easy, but yes, they will be doing it if they get the ingredients. That's kind of the point of the class.
Right.
And I thought it would be fun since 4th of July is coming up. And I know I can do it in 30 minutes. Do you also recommend charging maybe just $5 or $6 since it's
you know, you can charge what you want to charge. I just think there's kind of two schools of thought floating around out there about what you charge for classes. And there's one school of thought that says, I'm going to go super cheap so that, you know, hopefully parents will sign up for it and, you know, maybe I'll get more enrolled. And then there's another school of thought that I've seen that says, I kind of bypass $5 classes because I feel like maybe they're not rich in content. If they're only $5, how good can they be? Kind of thing. And so I will tell you that I have right now about 60. Next week I'm already almost at 70 students next week, and my parents consistently pay $10 for a 25-minute class on phonics. Because it's very dense in content and we don't stop. I know I'm giving them a lot of value in that 25 minutes, and because in my opinion, I've been doing this for 20 years too in other school settings. I know that 25 minutes is about the brink for a 4 to 7 year old to work consistently on those sounds. It's a long time. We used to not make our reading groups more than 15 minutes. So you just kind of have to say, how much value am I giving in this class? And how much do I think it's worth? Would I sign my child up for, you know, do I think $10 for 30 minutes is too much? I don't think that $10 for a 30-minute class where they're going to learn how to make something and it's going to be interactive and they're going to be doing things, and that, you know, it's not just a lecture. I wouldn't think that would be too much at all. But again, that's just, you've got to kind of think through, what is this class worth? Do I want people to, you know, I was surprised because I kind of would tend to be on the first end and say, I'm going to make my classes more, you know, less expensive so I can be competitive. And I have kind of seen that other school of thought out there in the other Facebook groups saying, I don't really even look at $5 classes. I feel like they're not going to be that great.
Okay. Yeah, good thought. Thank you.
Balance in there and maybe charge $8.
That's what I was thinking. $8, since it's more of a fun class and not educational. You know what I'm saying? It's
great thought. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Linda. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
I have a question about my class. I've already submitted it. It's been approved. I didn't have any problems with it, but I have not gotten any students enrolled yet. I've offered it 3 different times. It's a 45-minute class because it involves writing. And so I needed to make sure that I gave them enough time for them to be able to write their story and do the other things that we were doing as well. I charged $10, but I'm not sure, you know, if it's not until next week. Well, I mean, the first week of July. And so is it, maybe I'm not getting any enrollees because it's still another week and a half away, or is it too expensive? You know, I'm just kind of like going,
$10 for a 45-minute writing class is not too expensive in my opinion.
Well,
I think that's very in line with kind of the pricing guidelines that Outschool puts out.
Right.
Because they recommend, you know, $10 to $12 for 30 minutes to an hour, you know, 45 minutes to an hour, something like that. So yeah, for sure. It could be a couple of things. It could be the the fact that it's summertime, maybe a lot of kids aren't taking writing classes right now.
Right.
I feel like the phonics content is very popular because of parents wanting to get their kids ready for kindergarten before it's time for kindergarten roundup, if that happens. And I think I've heard a lot of veteran Outschool teachers say tutoring type classes and fun classes are popular in the summertime in their experience. So it might just be like, so for instance, one of the admins on for Outschool, she does math classes in the summertime. Her art classes are more popular in the school year, and her math classes are more because it's math tutoring. They need to catch up and they need to not lose what they've learned, in the summertime. But so I don't know if writing would be a maybe it.
Okay. We're talking about fairy tales, and I wanted them to get a chance to write an original fairy tale, but I was sharing others, and we're talking about what encompasses a fairy tale, some of the elements of a fairy tale. And I mean, I've gotten some positive feedback from others who I've shown it to, but I just haven't gotten any learners yet. So I just didn't know now one thing I didn't do, and I wanted to go back and add it, would be to put in a little video just kind of to promote it. And I thought, well, maybe that would help.
That might help too. And also, Linda, it may not be the content at all. What I'm also seeing a lot in this right now is a lot of last minute enrolled students.
Right.
So
well, I'm not going to worry about it. I just thought I'd ask and kind of get some feedback. And once I have submitted a class, even though I haven't taught it yet, I can add more classes, right?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. While you're waiting, go ahead and just create 2 or 3 more classes. What I found is that the classes that I thought were going to take off did not. And the class that I was just like, well, I guess I'll do this while I'm waiting, I can always teach phonics, has over 200 saves from parents now.
That's amazing.
It isn't what I planned to do, but I'm listening to the parents and say, okay, well, I guess I am the phonics teacher. That's who I am. So, just kind of, it may take you putting out a few different classes that aren't exactly the same to see what generates interest.
Okay. Thanks.
Sure. Any other questions? I'm sorry, y'all. I forgot to put my dog up. Hey, Rachel. Are you muted? Do I need to?
Now I'm unmuted. Hi, I'm so excited to actually talk to you in person, Marian. You're my hero.
Oh my goodness.
I watch your videos while I'm on the elliptical, and I'm I have this fangirl kind of attitude.
You're so sweet.
So I'm new, and I got approved May 24th, and my first class was June 24th or 22nd, something like that.
Awesome.
But so I'm wondering, why, the children who've been in my class seem really happy, and parents are signing them up again, and I'm getting these nice, emails from parents, they seem to be happy. I can't find any stars or comments connected to any of my classes. Are there any, or should I be asking for people to rate me, or what?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I do, and I have noticed it helping. I did see in the beginning, and I still see for the most part, people don't rate classes often. At least that's been my experience, unless I ask for it. Now I make sure, because I teach on Outschool, every time my kids take a class, I rate it immediately, because I know how we want those ratings. But what I do after every single class, before I click off of the page, because now right after you teach a class, if you click off of the page, then you got to go in and find that class. It doesn't show up as a completed class anymore like it used to. You have to actually go in and find the section and then go into the learners tab and then open up that. It's just not as easy to find. So before you click off of that page, once you hit end meeting, you're back in the classroom where you started the live meeting, and I just leave a comment and say, you know, thanks so much for bringing your learners to class today. I really enjoyed teaching them all about the op words. Be sure you're signed up for next week's class where we'll learn all about the at words or something like that. Also, it would mean so much to me if you took the time to rate this class, so I will know and others will know how you enjoyed it. You know, just a blurb after every single class. I will put out there with ongoing classes, it takes them they have to take 2 or 3 classes. Some teachers say 2, some say 3, before a rating option will even show up. You can't even rate an ongoing class until your child has taken that class 2 or 3 times.
So I'm just doing one-time classes right now, and I think I've taught like 6 or 7 this week. And should I go back to like Monday at 12:30 and find those learners and just say, oh, by the way,
I enjoyed so-and-so in my class, and I was just wondering if you enjoyed it, would you mind rating me so I'll know how you liked it? Nothing at all wrong with that.
Thank you.
For sure.
That was my question.
Yay! Hi, Aisha.
Oh, sorry.
Hi, Aisha. Okay, Marianne, question?
One more, sorry. No. Is there a way, I know I haven't been on Zoom yet, you know, where I'm in charge or whatever, and Paige is my referral. I mean, would there be a way I can practice with somebody? I know I've seen that offered, but how does that work?
So when you practice, first of all, if you've not already signed up to take Outschool's Zoom training class, definitely take that class. It's very valuable. And they will there's not a lot of time for Q&A in there, but they definitely do take you through the steps of, you know, like all the features of Zoom that you need to know as the teacher. So that's very valuable. Also, you can go in your own personal Zoom. Even if you just have the free version of Zoom, you can just start a meeting with just yourself. I found this is the easiest way to practice. Just start a meeting with just yourself, because it's the same exact Zoom that you're going to see when you hit go live in the classroom. It's just Zoom. The only thing is that when you're sharing your screen, a few of these share screen options. So for instance, let me go ahead and just share a screen and show you. There are a few options, like I use the whiteboard a lot. So I would say, like, who knows the first sound in ah? Does anyone know this letter? You know, that sort of thing. Now, when you use your whiteboard, you can't practice like. Can y'all see all of my options that are showing up?
No.
No. Okay. So can y'all see my whiteboard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So this is why those Outschool Zoom training is valuable, because when they actually do their training with you, you can see, because they've got PowerPoint slides that actually show you exactly what you're seeing in the menu that I'm seeing now, but that you cannot see, because I'm the host, and so I'm the only one that can see it. But so for instance, there are options up here that will let you like disable the student's annotation, meaning they cannot write on the whiteboard and things like that. There are a few options that if you don't have anyone in your group or in your Zoom, then those options are not going to show up. But for the most part, you can practice your lesson and practice that share screen option as often as you want in your own personal Zoom account, and you will get the same like feeling and experience. That's how I practice. Now you can when you create a class, you can create a section and just keep it private. And then you can invite friends, or you can invite Paige, or, you know, whoever you want. You can invite someone to, like, just, you could even say, can you just sign in? You don't even have to watch me. I just need a person on the other end so that all the options will show up for me so I can practice. You can do it that way. The only thing is, Outschool will record your practice session. They will just do the audio if there are if it's a private class. They will record, though, your audio, and probably no one will listen to it, or they'll listen to it and see that it was just a practice session and they'll archive it, but still somebody might hear it, and you may not want that. So I just wanted nobody to hear me, and so I just practiced on my own personal Zoom. And the other thing is, you can always go into your classroom that's public. Like if you've got a class and it's marked as public and you've already got enrollees in that class, you can always go in and practice in that classroom anytime before start time. But again, it's going to be that, because it's public, it'll be video and audio recorded. And it may or may not, I feel like they don't attach those practices to the actual live class meeting, but just because I'm not 1,000% sure that parents would not see me practicing, I don't risk it. So anyway, that's just me. I just prefer to practice on my personal free, my personal Zoom. And if you have the free version, you can practice it just the same.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes. Any other? Yes, Aisha.
It's Aisha. Is there any specific attire that we wear, or anything that we're not supposed to wear, like logos and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any information on attire other than just, like I wear a teaching t-shirt for every class, just because I'm already in it from VIPKid usually. And so I just kind of wear a teaching t-shirt. I think you just kind of would wear what you would wear in your classroom, or if you were tutoring kids, or, just kind of whatever. But I haven't seen anything about logos and not being acceptable. If I did, I didn't retain it. So. All right. Any other questions?
Sorry.
Did someone speak?
I just apologize for running away. I'm sorry. I had to go unlock my car for my son so he could get something out.
No problem. I just thought we were boring you, but that's totally fine.
No, not at all. I did want to say, I heard Brooke comment the other day about dress. And she was saying that as long as we looked, professional, it's not as strict as, say, VIPKid,
right.
But that she just usually wears a plain shirt of some sort and looks nice.
Yes. I think just what you would wear, to school.
And I think, even some of the t-shirts that, you wouldn't, of course, wouldn't want to wear a VIPKid or a Go-Go Kids shirt, but I mean, even if it says something about teaching, then I got the impression that was all okay.
That's what I wear. Like that, you can't really see it, but this is my love, teach, repeat shirt from the ESL Connection, I think, ESL Boutique. But anyway, any just teacher t-shirts, ESL Boutique and ESL Connection. I've gotten several from both of those, and I just find it really easy and convenient to throw on a t-shirt for work. So
I have a place in my closet. That's all my t-shirts. So.
Yes. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I will we'll go ahead and get into ongoing classes. Do y'all want to talk about ongoing classes? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So let me go ahead and share. I am just going to share my screen with you just to kind of give you a little bit of, so here are the classes. Let me go to my classes page. So I'm going to show you all this. You can see right here, this Let's Learn to Read Beginners. That's my ongoing class that I have 208 saves on. That's the accidental class that took off. while I was, if you saw my recent video on YouTube about the mistake, my Outschool mistake, this is the class I was talking about, because I didn't realize what I was doing when I was starting an ongoing class, really. I just thought, yeah, well, of course, you're going to teach phonics, you know, more than once, so that needs to be ongoing. And then I realized, oh my goodness, this is ongoing. Like, duh, this means I have to create new content every single week. And so I had created like 4 weeks worth of content for this ongoing class. But I realized at the end of that parents are not wanting to quit the ongoing class, and like they're you know, asking for like, when are you going to schedule the next classes and that sort of thing. And I'm like, well, I could just end it here and lose all this interest that's in this class because I've ended it, or I could keep creating content. So I've created like 9 weeks worth of content now for this class. And then what I'm going to do is we're going to run through July, and then I'm going to end this ongoing class and then restart it. So that, so I just wanted to show you real quick that, but if you do make an ongoing class, and I'll open up questions, and please, if you've got questions, just, you know, like raise your hand or tell me, you know, interrupt me, whatever, let me know you've got a question, because I don't want to talk in a direction that that isn't relevant or you're not particularly interested in right now, so that this can be meaningful for you. Linda, do you have a question?
Yeah, that one, the 208 saves, that one, that's the ongoing. But then, yes, do you have one-time classes that you're doing underneath that, the app, yes, op, app, onward?
Yes. So what I discovered was that when I panicked, now all these at, op, app, un classes, those were birthed in the midst of my panic, basically. When I realized, oh my goodness, this is ongoing, I'm going to be creating phonics content forever. What did I do? I've got to make I've got to make this ongoing class a bunch of one-time classes. So that's what I did. I just broke it up into one-time classes. However, even though they fill, there's not as big of an interest in those classes as there is the ongoing. And as a parent, you know, I can kind of definitely understand that. I want my child to continually work on phonics throughout the summer. It doesn't really make sense for him to work on phonics once. And so I really understood that. And so I did create these classes, and I'm just going to leave them because I'll plug them into my schedule throughout the week. I think it gives parents an opportunity to see what the ongoing class looks like. So after I created these and I started scheduling them, I will kind of leave a blurb after these one-time classes. If you like the way this class was formatted, if you're, you know, or if this kind of class is useful or something like that, then please check out my ongoing class. We do this kind of phonics practice every week in my ongoing class. So it kind of turned into a way to introduce parents to the ongoing class, and also a lot of parents that want to check out the ongoing class, but they don't want to pay for a subscription because, well, what if I just really do want it one time and then I forget to cancel the subscription and now I get charged every week for it? I just felt like it also turned into a way that parents could try it out. So that's what that is. And I really only teach about 2 of those one-time classes a week, just to kind of let parents have an option, because most of my schedule is filled up with the ongoing. And so because I realized that was working well, I just uploaded these 2 new classes yesterday. This is a reading fluency intervention strategy. So this is reading fluency for the older children. And I made it ongoing because I thought, well, maybe I could have an ongoing for older kids as well. But I also made it as a one-time class. So they can take it one time, and then my plan is, I only have 1 student signed up for this so far, just uploaded it yesterday. And so my plan is introduce it, and then leave that same blurb. If this is something you would be interested in your child practicing every week, I do offer this class in the ongoing format with different reading passages. Mary Ann. Oh, I think you're muted. Let me see.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say congratulations on the ongoing. I mean, even though it was frightening, it was probably awesome for you. There's been a lot of talk about copyright, and I have read it. I've been, working on the stuff for Outschool and reading all the stuff. Yes. So I downloaded the Canva app.
Yes.
Is anything from there safe? Meaning,
yeah, Canva. If you have Canva, are you doing the paid version or the free version?
I just downloaded the free version, but I'll probably get the paid version.
I think anything that you use from Canva, paid or unpaid, has already been filtered and is safe to use. I don't think there's any copyright issues with Canva. Okay. Don't quote me on that, like double check, because I'm not the expert on that, but I do believe, yeah.
Well, I was going to say my other question. So I work for VIPKid, as most of us, I think a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And I did buy from one of the teachers on Teachers Pay Teachers. It was basically one of the things I got were the sight words for the lessons, right? Mm-hmm. Now, my question is, obviously she didn't come up with this word. Am I free to use it in class? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I would, if you downloaded the card, if it was a download, or any other, yes, always check with the creator. So, and make sure.
So unless I type up my own word, print it out,
make your
laminate
own card, and you can make your own cards on Canva. But if you weren't the creator of the actual card, then it's not your creation.
Even though you bought it.
Even though you bought it.
Yeah.
Because
she does offer where I can buy the license.
Yeah.
So if I buy the license, am I free to use it? Because the reason I ask is because obviously I'm going to make, like, let's say I end up having 100 classes where I use just this word alone. Yes. Is that okay then if I buy the license? Or,
it depends
I don't know
on
if you know.
It depends on her license. So it depends on the license that she's selling. So I just wouldn't ever assume anything. Her license may say free for one-time use in your classroom, or free indefinitely for the rest of your life in your classes. So you have to always check with the creator. For instance, in this reading fluency intervention strategies class, I needed leveled reading passages, and I needed someone that had already done those. I found a Teachers Pay Teachers creator that had exactly what I needed, and before I bought them, I downloaded her freebie, reached out to her and said, hey, I love your freebie. This is exactly what I need to teach my Outschool classes. If I purchase all of your reading levels, can I use them in all of my Outschool classes? And she immediately wrote back, yes, absolutely, but thanks for asking. And so I screenshot that email. It's saved in my file, in that class file, so that if there is ever a question, and I've also in that content, I make sure that her name created by what she put on there, her logo, is visible. So I'm not ever acting like I created that. I bought it and she gave me permission to create it, and I have that saved in my file so that if there ever is a question, I've got that.
You put that information in the description? Or
I did not put it in my description, and I actually meant to. Reading passages used with permission from is what I meant to do, and I will probably go and edit that description because I just forgot, but I did mean to.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because somebody was saying they got permission for whatever, maybe it was a picture or something, and then Outschool, like, it delayed their class being listed because they forgot to say, oh, I got permission, by such and such. So that's why I didn't know. I hear they're really cracking down on copyright. So
yes, for sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. So, Aisha.
And is there a difference of like the content between, let's say, summer classes, summer camps, and then when kids go back to school, like the difference of what teachers are offering during those times for classes?
I think just from what I've read, because I am new to Outschool, as I think I applied in April. So I'm fairly new as well. But I just from what I've read, I've heard that typically more fun type of classes, the extracurricular things that you don't have time for during the school year, do really well, like baking or cooking or some kind of sport, or just, whatever you don't have time for because you're bogged down with academics during the school year. I hear those typically do very well. But I've also heard that this summer is very different because so many kids lost the end of the year classroom experience. So a lot of parents are looking to supplement the academics portion that they missed this summer. So I think this is probably a very different year, but I have heard typically, more academics do better in the school year and the elective type courses do better in the summer. That's just what I've read, though, from other teachers. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Shall I continue?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah, Nikki.
For your ongoing phonics class, do you just have one section of that a week, or do you teach it like multiple times a week, like at different times?
I do. I teach, so let me share. So this is my upcoming schedule. Today I have a 1 and 2 o'clock class, and I just starting to add, like starting Friday, you can see I just added these just real quick right before class. I added like 5 more sections. So I don't have any enrolled yet in those, but typically I teach 12 classes a week, and like 10 of those are the ongoing reading class, that ongoing phonics class. So you can see Monday, I've got my 5 sections of that class scheduled, and then Thursday I've got 4 sections of that class scheduled, and then you can see I have that one brand new class where there's 1 learner in it. And so then Friday, starting July 3rd, I'm going to beef up my Friday teaching schedule. So I've just added all those other sections. So my goal, so with 12 classes a week, that was exactly 5 hours of teaching, I believe, every week. And so my goal was to get 10 hours of actual teaching time in a week. So but I'm slowly working up to that because, kids and life, everything else. So yeah.
Are you finding certain times are more popular, like your central time, but are you getting kids from all over the country, all over the world?
I think I'm getting mostly kids from the USA. I don't really ask because we just don't have a lot of chit chat time. I do have a lot of, I do have, because, the 4 to 7 age range can be very chatty. And so I found what really works well for me is oh, am I still frozen? I'm so sorry. Thank you, Rachel. Is Rachel still with us? Am I still frozen?
You're not as frozen as you were.
Okay.
You're thawing out.
Okay. Hey, Sissy. Could you turn off internet, baby? Do we have internet on the other devices? Could you double check for me? Thank you. Sissy. Sissy is.
Marianne, it started happening when you started your screen sharing.
Shoot. Okay. So, just let me know if it gets too bad and I'll stop screen sharing.
But your voice is fine.
Your voice is fine. Yep.
Okay.
That's really important.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So, let's see. Okay, so I think that I don't know if that answered a question. I don't remember what I was talking about.
We're talking about times.
Yeah, that answers, like, because I'm trying to work on like my fall schedule, and I've never done ongoing before. So my thought was to try to offer at different times of the day, so one, I can reach more students, and then so I'm like, if I'm creating all this content, I want to be able to use it more than once a week. So
yes. So definitely, I think it's going to be interesting when when kids do go back to school, if all of these times, like I'm 10 to 2 basically central, if they will still fill up like they are now. That'll be interesting. So I'm just going to kind of have to play around too with that. I'm really hoping that I'll get preschoolers that are, that are maybe homeschooling and not in kinder yet, still in those time slots. But to just kind of think about where you still might attract a lot of homeschoolers, too, even when schools go back to school. I know that this is huge for the homeschool community. So, yeah.
Marianne, I have a couple.
Go ahead, Rachel.
I have a couple of tech questions. So number one is I need a camera, like a webcam that will really show my screen share better. Right now I'm using kind of a low quality Logitech that I've got propped up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like yellowish and not super clear when it shows the other screen. And so does anybody have like some kind of webcam that they really, really like? And maybe you can just write it in the comments or something. I looked this morning, somebody had posted like a document viewing camera and a link to Amazon, and I looked at it and it cost $400. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I certainly don't have that money to spend right now, but I just really want something that's tall that can show like a big area, because I'm demonstrating materials that they're much larger than a page.
Gotcha. So I typed in mine, but it may not work. Aisha had one. I typed in mine. The one that I use is Logitech C920, because that's the one we were all recommended when I first started VIPKid a couple of years ago. And so that's the one I still use.
What do you actually put it on though? Like, do you have a big stand for it?
It comes with the like it has like a handle kind of, and you just prop it up on your screen. So
right, but I'm showing stuff that's next to me. So I need like a tripod or something, and I have no clue what to buy.
You
use your phone?
Yeah, there must be a way I could use my phone, but then what if somebody calls me in the middle?
Turn it off, put your phone on, what is that, airplane mode, or turn it off? Yeah. But definitely.
This is a small tripod that's designed for a phone.
Okay.
And it works great. You can, it's not very tall, but you can angle it down toward your, I don't know what it costs. It belongs to my husband.
Maybe I can get
he buys everything
that will show more. Yeah, because the phone actually has a really good quality camera inside of it. I've got a like an Android. Ooh,
all right.
What is that?
This is I'll have to look it up. It's a ring light. Right. It'll hold your phone.
Ooh.
These are adjustable, so you can make it a short like Linda's, or you can I don't turn this on when I'm zooming because you see the ring light in my glasses.
Do you show the books or things that you're teaching with, like when you're doing the @words, are you doing a book with that?
I do everything on my screen share. I've made Google Slide presentations.
Google Slides, yeah.
I use this to record my YouTube videos, but it's on Amazon, and it was fairly cheap too.
I bought one too.
Yeah.
So I can show it like has a streaming thing or something with your phone.
Have to.
How do you get your phone to be connected? I mean, these are all questions.
You have to connect to. You have to connect you have to log into Zoom from, like, you log on as the teacher from your, you know, computer, and then you also have to log in from your other device.
Oh, okay.
And then you can have your other device pointed towards what you want to show. So have your other device on your tripod pointed to like your work area that you're wanting to show. So you're logged on from 2 different places.
Got it. Okay. Okay. And my other question very quickly was that twice yesterday I had a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old who couldn't see my screen share, and it was something on their end. And so I said, oh, can you ask your parent to help you? And I don't know what it was that the parent clicked on, but then suddenly they could see my screen share. And I would like to be able to tell the parents, you know, in my class description or something, you know, this is how your learner can see my screen. I don't know why they couldn't see it.
I wonder if it's the pin portion, Marianne, if they need to pin it bigger, like they need to make it.
I don't ever pin my video. I don't ever pin myself anymore because that just didn't work for me, but it may have been the view. When you switch from speaker view to gallery view.
Yeah.
And so they may have, you can always suggest switch to speaker view so that when you're talking, you know, they'll see your screen.
Yeah.
Or, you know, switch the view. And that's usually like if they're on a device in the upper left-hand corner. If they're like on a tablet, they just touch the view.
The view. So I can ask your parent or whatever, you know, ask somebody to help you find the view. Because it was funny because first the dad pressed something and I could see their messy living room. And he's like, no, that's not it. and then he pressed something else. And then the little boy was like, I can see the screen. But it was so sad because it was probably like, I don't know, 15 minutes into the lesson. And I asked him a question about what I was showing. And he was like, I can't see your screen. I was like, oh, I should have asked, you know, felt bad.
Marianne, do you have some insight on that?
It's a tech question that kind of goes along with what she was talking about. So my first class, you know, if it works out, I'll be in my kitchen as opposed to my, you know, office. So I have a big computer, but I just got an iPad. And so I saw this. I don't know if you, whoops, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I teach from my iPad?
Yes.
On Outschool?
You can.
Because I know VIPKid, there were certain
limitations.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is okay as long as I download the app on the iPad. Just like on my,
you won't have all of the options that you have from the laptop or the desktop. You still won't have all the options. So before you go into that, I would make sure you don't want to, you may, again, like Rachel is thinking about doing, you may want to set your iPad up to focus on your area of where you're creating, but then you also may want to be like logged into a laptop sitting on the counter. Or something like that, just so in case you don't, you just have to practice and figure out, will the iPad give me all the capabilities I need to teach this class? Because there are limitations teaching from, you can even teach from your phone, but there are limitations from teaching not using a laptop or a desktop.
This is what makes me nervous about Outschool, is not the teaching, it's all the technology.
No, totally. Like, that's where I was for sure.
So scared because I'm 50 and it's like, I don't know, just
I'm
yeah.
I'm older than you are. I've been a class teacher for 30 years and this is all new. Oh my God, I nearly had a heart attack in March when I had to start teaching on Zoom. And then I decided I love it.
Oh, good,
good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So this is something I could practice on Zoom before I actually teach it.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, and I think
weekend.
Just getting the Zoom part down, that is the most intimidating part about teaching any of the classes. So getting that Zoom down, and I feel like the biggest hang up is the mute unmute issue. And so if you can figure out, like I definitely have a system down for muting and unmuting now that's kind of working very well. And it's not, I have a new student here and there every class, so we usually have to like kind of retrain very quickly a new incoming student, but just if you can have your system that works very, have it down. And what I suggest is, like for every class, I never mute them upon entry, so they can come in and say hello. And I don't turn my camera on until about a minute until class time. So the kids will start coming in and they'll say hello, I see you, or just whatever. And then when I turn my camera on, I say hello individually to every student. Hello, Marianne. Hello, Paige. I'm so happy you're back. Hello, Rachel. I'm so glad you joined us today. Whatever, a personal little greeting for each one. And then right after we say hello to each other, I mute all, and I do not check the box that says allow participants to unmute themselves. Because if you check that box, then whether you press unmute or not, they can unmute themselves at will. And for 4 to 7-year-olds, I don't want that. So I uncheck that box that's going to automatically be checked, and I'll say, so do not allow participants to unmute themselves. I press OK, and then I'll say, okay, everybody is muted now, so you can all hear me, but we're going to move quickly. You have to listen big for your name. When I call your name, you're going to have to press this word, unmute. This word starts with U-N. It makes the sound un. That's what you'll press, when I call your name. I go through that very quickly for every class, whether I've taught these same 7 or 8 kids 6 or 7 times, or whether they're brand new. I do that first. That's my first little spill. And then every time I call your name, okay, it's Rachel's turn. Rachel. And I hold that sign up every time. Great, remembering to press unmute, and then I ask her the question. If you can, and then we get to a portion. I was going to just share my screen with you guys and let you see kind of what I pull up at like the worksheet and the Google slide presentation and that sort of thing. But I feel like my screen was freezing on that share screen, so I don't want to do that to y'all. But basically, there are parts of the lesson where I will say, okay, for just a couple of minutes, everyone is on unmute. I think we can do it, but if I hear noise, I'll mute you. Don't worry, it's okay. I'll unmute you when it's your turn to talk. And then so we'll go through. There are different parts where we will unmute, but it won't be the whole lesson. And you definitely just have to have it down exactly when you're going to mute, when you're going to unmute. And if you set those expectations out there from the very first class, from the get-go, what I have learned is that parents appreciate you being in control of that noise level, because it's very frustrating when you've signed your child up and your child keeps responding, but the teacher doesn't hear the response because of other noise level happening. And that one child might start to feel like, why am I here? Or as a parent, because I'm the worst helicopter mom, and I would be like, you don't hear my child, and he said it 5 times. Why don't you hear him? My baby, and so it's just, I don't want to do that to any learner or any parent. And so have control of that mute, unmute button. And that is my tip.
Marianne, do you practice that in the beginning? Do you say, okay, let's mute, unmute, mute, unmute?
We don't have time. We just do it because it's an ongoing class, though. We do it so often in that 25 minutes that most of them come to me already knowing the system. And I just always say, give me thumbs up if you understand. And they'll always give me, so just kind of, because we do have to move so quickly, I do like 7 activities in 25 minutes with them, so we can move really quickly. And that's just another.
Unmute?
Do what now?
Do you have to wait very long for them to unmute?
No, not if you set it up where, Olivia, it's your turn next, get ready to unmute. That sort of kind of flow through your lesson. And also, just another quick tip is over prepare. What you think is going to take 30 minutes might take 12. I'm not even kidding. I was like, please, Lord, don't let there be crickets in this class. But I feel like it's coming, because here we are, we're finished. And I still have 17 minutes with you. Just that's how I felt like my first few classes ran. And I was like, I don't know why I didn't assume that I mean, I knew in the classroom to over prepare, but I didn't transfer that knowledge to the online classroom. And it's the same, over prepare so you don't have crickets. There's another tip for the day. Yes, Marianne.
So just, sorry, a question about, so with the students, because obviously this is, besides teaching one-on-one, I've never taught in a group. You want everyone, I know, to participate as much as possible. How do you have a method, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how there's always that one person that wants to answer, and then maybe one that doesn't want to say anything. So how do you, can I ask? How do you
Yes, for sure. So I just, if I do, usually with the age group, they all want to answer. And so I do have, a few that want to answer every single question. And I just constantly, like if I know that that's coming with that particular child, I might say something like, you get to pick one picture, remember one picture, and then it's someone else's turn. Or I do a lot of, I would love to hear about that. I'll stay with you after class for a few minutes and you can tell me about that. Okay, next turn. That's just really doing a lot of, like yesterday in one of my classes, I probably spent 5 minutes after class with them, letting them tell me all the things. Because it's just, if they know they're going to get to talk, then they'll work for you. It's like a paycheck. And so you do a great job and you get to tell me. And yesterday it was all about their favorite ice cream. So nothing to do with anything we learned, but it was talk time and they loved it. And then that's a point where you can also say, okay, I'm here to chat with you for a few minutes, but if you need to log off, you did an awesome job today and I'll see you next week. That way they don't have to commit, but you're available for a few minutes to let them get their chatter out. And it helps you build connections. Oh, you told me you liked blackberries on your ice cream. Did you pick any blackberries last week? That sort of thing. It helps you make mental notes about the kids. You can leave those comments to personalize your comments to the parents. I really loved hearing about how so-and-so went picking blackberries. We have a lot of blackberries right now where I live, but I never thought about putting them on ice cream, that sort of thing. Just kind of building connections. Yeah.
That's cool.
Nikki, yes.
Okay. So I have questions about when you're typing up like an ongoing class for approval. So I'm wanting to do one like starting in the fall for the school year about science. So in like a different topic each week. When I send it in for approval, do I need to have, like, can I just put, I'm going to do this topic and this topic, or do I need to put like this week I'm doing this topic? Like, how much do I need to have planned out when I send it for approval?
When you send it for approval, you do not have to have the topics every week. It is suggested that you, for your meeting times, you'll have in that description box, like this week will be animals, this week will be ocean animals or whatever. But it's not suggested, and I've never done a week by week. It's something that's constantly, it always gets moved to next week's to-do list because I don't get to it, is put in what sounds we're working on for what weeks. And it hasn't deterred anything. It didn't stop me from getting approved in either of my now ongoing classes, and didn't stop parents from signing up. But what I do is after each class, go ahead and tell them what we're working on next week, and I go ahead and upload the worksheet for that next week, so that to give them an idea of what we're working on. But so you don't have to have it for them to approve it. But I do think it's a great idea, even though I haven't done it, to go ahead and list out in the description box what weeks you're working on what.
And if I go back into, like, let's say I get it approved and like after 4 weeks I want to add like the next 5 weeks topic, will they have to approve it again, or is it good to go?
Once an ongoing class is approved, then as long as that, like, your topic is approved, then you can just add your content and schedule. You don't have to get your each week reapproved. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, Rachel.
Do you have to get, so say you say this ongoing class is going to go for 4 weeks. then when like at the end of week 3 or something like that, do you then propose it again so that you can have it happen for another 4 weeks? I'm asking because I just proposed a tutorial class. I know this isn't really a tutoring it's Outschool is not really for tutors, but I had 2 parents request that I tutor their child. And one of them I already had a relationship with from the classroom. She just graduated. And the other child, she took one of my classes this week, and then her mom messaged me and was like, could you tutor her? So I proposed a tutorial, but I just made it 3 times a week for 4 weeks. At the end, if it does get approved, if it does get listed, because I was surprised it didn't get listed. My other classes all got listed like within 2 hours or an hour or something. It got so much faster the last couple of days.
Yes.
But the tutorial, I think it's trickier to get it listed, right?
It may be. I haven't listed a tutorial, but once when it does get approved and you do list it, to end it, you just don't schedule any more meetings for it. And so that would end. So like an ongoing class parents are charged every Sunday for the upcoming classes. It's a subscription. And so you just wouldn't schedule any more meetings, and then they wouldn't get charged anymore. And then or even if you needed to take a break from it, you just wouldn't charge for that week. And then you would schedule more meetings when you came back from your break.
So it could just keep going into the school year if they really enjoy it. And
it could keep going. When I do want to throw this out here about ongoing classes is well, I think I already mentioned this. I'm sorry. So if you're wanting to build up some stars, some reviews, then you may not want your ongoing class to be super long to begin with, so that they can actually review it, because it does take 2 or 3 times of their student being in it consecutively before they can review. So that's just something to think about. And then I think that's the only thing. I was going to say something about pay, but that doesn't really apply.
You don't have to propose it again, right? That's what you're saying?
Right. Once it's approved, you can just schedule and stop scheduling
say,
at will.
okay, this month was great. Let's do it in August. And then so you don't have to approve. Okay, get it approved. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
All right. I have another question based on what you said. So my first thought was doing like a full year science curriculum, like for kindergarten. Should I do it then, like do a September ongoing and then stop it, and then should I do it month by month? Would it be better that way?
You could do an ongoing that lasted all year. You could totally do that. Because what I'm finding is parents just stop their subscription when if it doesn't work for their schedule anymore, or their schedule changes from semester to semester, parents just stop their subscription. I also do think parents like the consistency of a schedule too. So even if they have to stop for a little while, they come back. They'll stop. If they go on vacation, they'll stop the subscription and then come back. Or what I've also had parents miss classes, and I've reached out to them saying, hey, I know you paid for this class. Would you like me to schedule so-and-so in this other section for the week so they don't miss it? And I've had parents say, no, we'll just watch the replay. Thanks so much for offering, but we'll just watch the replay. So those recordings are also available too if they ever can't make a class. But yeah, I think it's up to you. You can start out with the mindset that I'm going to run this class all year. And then if you need to say, you know what, I'm going to take a break after semester, you can just stop your course and let leave a note in your classroom for the parents. We're going to wrap this ongoing class up. I'm going to restart another class, same time, same place, and here's our focus for next semester. So I think with ongoing classes, you kind of have the freedom. If they're different from courses, you don't have to know exactly the time limit, how long it's going to run when you start it, if that helps any. Okay. Yes. Aisha.
If I had a parent, let's say I have a 3-week class coming up in July, and if I had a parent sign up but didn't show like maybe once or twice during that time, then started showing up, would I refund those classes or offer different times?
So it was a short course? You had a short course?
Yeah, it's a short multi-day course for like 3 weeks that's coming up.
Got it. Okay. I would just because they do pay for courses up after that first meeting, they pay you for the entire course up front. If they don't show up for the first couple of classes, but then they do show up for the rest, it sounds like they would miss like 2 out of 6 classes. Because it's a course, I wouldn't really reach out unless they reached out. Not that I wouldn't want to provide good customer service, but I feel like parents know up front, when I sign up for this course, I'm committing to the teacher that I'm going to be there, and they make that financial commitment, so they know they're investing. And maybe something just came up and they couldn't make it, but they know they can watch the recording of it. And also they know I feel like they know it's more difficult to transfer in courses because you might not be exactly on the same place, and or you may not have another course exactly like that running. I don't know. I just would think, I don't know this for sure. I'm just thinking it out loud. I probably wouldn't offer anything because they did make that commitment to be there for that time frame, that short time frame. Now, if they reach out to you, I would do everything in my power to make it right and make them feel comfortable and make them a repeat parent. I hope that helps. Linda.
As far as like the ongoing and you decide to stop, do you communicate with the parents, but do you have to communicate with Outschool?
No, you just stop it. You just don't schedule any more meetings. And then I think it's just good customer service to communicate that in the classroom. Hey, this ongoing class is going to wrap up the last week of July. I'll start a new ongoing course where we go back through, for me, for instance, we will repeat 9 weeks of this, this 9 weeks of content. So to let parents know it's going to be the same content, you may not want to.
Gotcha.
Sign up again. Yeah. Yes, Marianne.
Okay. A little bit different topic, but I have a question. So I'm early childhood elementary certified. Okay. So I plan on doing beginning reading, classes like that. My question is worksheets. When I was going through student teaching, they're always like, don't use worksheets because, more interactive. So do you think, or have you found so far, is it important to have a worksheet? Is it good? Does it matter?
It's so funny that you say that, because I even still have a hard time writing the word worksheet when I type it into parents, like, I'm so sorry, here's a worksheet. But it's because we're so ingrained that worksheets are bad. But what I have found is that the students love to have what they see on the screen. So they love to have that, and they love to be able, just because I'm writing it on the screen, they want to write it on their very own that looks just like mine. So they like the writing practice. I think it's a different scenario where students really get excited. They like the worksheets. Even if they don't have the worksheet printed out, they'll go get a piece of paper real quick so they can write too with us. It's just kind of like not wanting to be left out of the activity sort of thing. But I don't find that they have the same stigma at all, but they're not required for sure. I didn't start out with worksheets, but then, because I thought it was going to be a lot of work, and then I just realized how easy I can create a worksheet in 5 minutes on Canva and just put it in the classroom for whoever wants to print it out. It's so easy.
It is. Is there? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you too, because I saw some on Pinterest that were like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I'm thinking of doing. Yes. But then I don't want to get accused of copywriting.
Put your own logo on it.
Okay.
That's what I do. I logo all of every presentation, all right, so guys, I'm just gonna please tell me if I freeze you again. I don't want to freeze you again, but I'm just going to like kind of show you.
Thank you. Thank you for.
Yeah. So like this is an example of a worksheet that I give my week 1 of our phonics class, all about @words. And so you can just see how easy that is. Just create it in Canva, but I've got my little logo up here in the top right. That MA bird, that little black circle, if you can see that. That is, do you see that, Marianne? Can y'all see that? I see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
So Marianne, did you say you give them the worksheet before class or after class?
Before. So I upload the worksheet before our class starts. Like I always upload next week's the week before. Like, so, however, here's another tip. If you've got students that enroll after your last class, they're not going to see this. So I always upload it, but if you have last minute enrollees, I always also upload it again the morning of that day's classes to say, hey, just for any enrollees that enrolled, after I posted this, I wanted you to be sure and have the worksheet in case you want to print it out for today's class.
And what about somebody who enrolls like 15 minutes before the class starts? I've had that happen.
Yeah.
Like somebody will just show up in class that I didn't even know was coming.
For the parents are very understanding. Most of the time they realize you may be teaching a class and you don't have time to individually keep up with who enrolls last minute. Okay. But I found that if I always say something like, here's the worksheet for today. I uploaded it in our classroom last week and again this morning. I don't say that for those 4 to 7-year-olds. I say it for the adult ears that are in hearing range, just so they'll know. I don't want them to think that everybody got it but them. And so I'll just say something real quick like that. But if you don't have this worksheet, no worries. Let's do mine together, or write in the air as I write on the paper. And so we do a lot of writing in the air. Or if you have a sheet of paper, you can use any sheet of paper. You can use a paper towel, whatever you want to use. So we just improvise, but yeah. That's how we kind of handle that. But I do find that they like the worksheets. Yes.
So when you use your worksheet, like, do you have it under a document camera, or do you just have it as a part of your Google slide?
Yeah, I just actually do it just like I just showed you. So I just pull it up just like this. All my students are on my screen, and so I turn on annotation like this, and I'll just turn on my marker and say, okay, now it's Marianne's turn. Marianne, what do you see here?
I see a cat.
Yes, cat. Who knows the first sound in cat? Yes.
Hey. Just kidding.
Yes. Thank you. I always love those mistakes. So I have the highlighter on. I would actually choose the pen. You guys, I can't draw with you guys. I don't know why. But yeah, so that's how we go through it. I messed up. There we go.
Something?
Yes.
So what I'm thinking of doing is putting my phone now on a tripod, and then next to me having exactly the sort of thing that you're doing, but I can control my writing. Like say I'm doing cursive. Since I'm a Montessori teacher, a lot of Montessori children do cursive. And I found it's very hard to write cursive on the whiteboard on Zoom. It's hard.
For sure. I'm so glad I actually saw.
Do it next to me with that.
That would totally work. I saw in one of the Outschool groups, one of the official groups, someone had a setup where they had their iPad pointing down over their notebook or over their worksheet, just showing her setup so that the students could actually, and that is definitely what I would do if we were doing handwriting practice. There is no way I would write that on the screen. But yeah, for sure you can do it that way. That's a great idea too.
Great.
That's what I had a class this past week where we're doing fireworks, like making fireworks for 4th of July. And it's the first time I had my phone and then my laptop and I had like issues with connection. It said it was like unstable. So I don't know if it was because I was using 2 devices, like from like my Wi-Fi. So now I'm like, oh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that again. So I have the class again on Monday. So I'm going to try it and see if it happens again. So now I'm thinking of like backup ways in case I can't do that.
I bought 100-foot cord to plug my my laptop into my router.
Yes.
Yeah. So we get cord all through the house now. And that solved the connection issue, but I don't know about, then I would have to actually like put my phone connected to my computer too. So
yeah. See, I the same way. I haven't really had trouble screen sharing in my classes that I know of, but I know when I'm on Zoom sometimes for these sessions, my screen will freeze when I go to share screen, which makes me a little nervous. But so I'm nervous to try anything else because I have so much opened up already that I know everything's pulling, and I'm always telling the kids, get off the internet, make sure your devices are off. So they have a really fun 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. most days. Just kidding. It's our productivity time. All right. Any other questions? I need to go ahead and wrap up. I know we've been on for a little over an hour, which is totally fine, but I need to wrap up now. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to go ahead and post this when I get a chance. It may not be uploaded till Monday, but I will upload it as soon as I get a chance. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you.
Every week?
Thank you.
Every week, yes. Every
Thank you.
Thanks you
so much. Bye-bye.
Yes. What was that?
It starts every week at what time? 10,
it was at 10 every Friday, but the schedule's going to be tweaked a little bit, just because of our different scheduling conflicts with our Outschool classes. Yeah. So every week though will be announced in the Facebook group.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you, Marianne.